save last.
Oh, that's interesting. You know what else is
It's
interesting?
really nice.
You know what else is
So
interesting?
if you like save during the trial, it has the courtroom as the background. If you save like during your investigation, it has the background of like where you last investigated or where you saved.
Oh, that's
as your background.
Whoa, that's really
Neat.
cool. So it has the Japanese courtroom right now because we're still in case 1 and it takes place in the that's really cool. That's actually really cool. Thanks for letting not only me know that, but everyone that's watching, because we are now live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, specifically the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. I am your host, Brandon, as usual, and I am joined by my wonderful, wonderful co-host, Christy.
Hi, everybody. I don't know why I keep waving, even though I'm not even on camera. I always like wave whenever I say hi. So
just for everyone watching, just imagine her waving because I'm sure it's adorable. But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna be continuing the game, and yeah. So where we left off was on case 1, which has been the longest case 1 in any Ace Attorney video game so far, I must say. Yeah, we, oh, by the way, what Christy was just talking about, the background, to let people get a better look at it. So there's the background, like she mentioned as the stream was starting, that, because we are in case 1, it has the background of the Japanese courtroom, so that's there, that's neat. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, this is the longest first case I've done in an Ace Attorney game, but it's been very entertaining thus far, and it brought back one of my favorite mechanics from, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, which was the reactions of other witnesses on the same testimonial stand. I really love that feature. I'm glad it's back in this game. But suffice to say, yeah, so to recap, Ryunosuke is on trial for murdering one John H. Watson. I believe that's his name. He did not murder the guy.
John Wilson.
John Wilson, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes.
Couldn't use Watson.
They couldn't. Anyways, yes. So he's been trying to defend himself this whole time with the help of his best friend Kazuma Asugi, and he's been up against Taketsuchi Auchi, the prosecutor. And there's been a lot of twists and turns in this case so far, but it all leads to the very likely possibility that the actual murderer is one Giselle Britt. A British transfer student that has come to Japan to study abroad. She's been very good at hiding her tracks to this point. But we were about to lose this case until one Susato Mikotoba came to hopefully bail us out. That's where the case left off currently. So we are intending to finish it tonight. Finish the entirety of case 1 so we can see the finale. And I was mentioning to Christy before the stream, if we finish early enough, I want to show you guys something. I'm going to hit the special contents. So, we have here, if it'll load, just takes a second, Escapades, which is like some short extra episodes. There are 8 of them in total, and I did recently look up when they take place chronologically, a spoiler-free guide, mind you, so I can get a better idea of when would be the best time to play some of these. So, all that to say, if we finish case 1 early enough, we will be doing the first Escapade tonight as well as a little dessert with the main course. But if not, then we will just do both Escapade 1 and 2 before we start our next episode, before case 2. So instead of dessert, it'll be like an appetizer. So there you go. With that, let's go ahead and continue. Loading the game. November 1:14 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. So Susato has finally joined. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? Ha! A judicial assistant, and a woman no less! The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. I only asked for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
Ha! You're too late, little girl. The trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
Ouchie, ouchie.
But, Your Excellency!
I am most grateful.
Hold on, I gotta move my webcam a little bit here. Because I'm blocking some of the text at the moment. I'm going to put myself in the top left for now and see how that works.
The top left should work.
Okay.
Because you won't be blocking the the life bar thing symbols.
Perfect.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh man, we got 3 people on this defense table now. It's getting a little full. But I'm good. Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something written in English?
It's Giselle Brett's research.
The Englishwoman's?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case?
I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curare? What's that? I've never heard that word before. Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom!
There was too little time for me to read it in detail. I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it.
This is wonderful. Thank you. Giselle's report has been entered into the court record. Ah, perfect. I'm going to read it in a second. A report detailing an unknown poison, I knew it, that Miss Brett has been researching during her time at UMA University. I freaking knew it.
Bye then, and good luck.
There she goes. Okay, hang on. Before I read this line, let me look at the court record. Because it's going to be crunch time in a second, I can already tell. Examine. Okay, synopsis. A poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Special characteristics. Effects. Instant paralysis to the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Route of entry. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Huh. I see. Due to its inability to... Okay, practical applications. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have an application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Okay. Back to the... You have had long enough, counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett?
Yes, Your Excellency?
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer?
A delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely...
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel? What is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? This.
Yes!
Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at UMA University, doing research. research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as Curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. What complete and utter nonsense! Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it! You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify Curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Order! 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 Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, Curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it's produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. And it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett? Trumpery! These aspirations are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that Curare was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there'd be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. Ooh, that's terrifying. That's hideous! To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was sleeping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly Curare poison. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison? This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing? What a happy tale for the defense!
If I may.
All these facts! You think you're so clever and you're...
It's you. Must be taught.
This theme. Of course! Dear lady!
Oh, this is how you Japanese behave, is it?
What?
Steal another's honest hard work, and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act.
Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual.
Whatever do you mean?
Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstance of an innocent man to frame him for an heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree? Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it! The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules! What's so funny?
Oh, excuse me. Your Excellency?
Yes, Miss Brett?
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see, why not? Oh, this is what she's going for?
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Sorry?
To an English woman such as myself, this whole affair is a
Farcical.
farcical comedy?
Yeah.
Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics is laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers!
Wait! What are you doing?
A sparkle left it all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Ness, whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, no cure. The bottle was clean? Is that what you're saying?
You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind.
Ugh.
Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
I'd like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time. The furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Ah, yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. God, how many twists and turns is this case gonna have? This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how?
Record again.
How did she?
Check the court record again.
I hear a whisper in my ear saying, "Check the court record again." Due to the ability to SBKDS and had a standard counter solution for the respiratory stress causing or patient with diacification.
Their special characteristics.
Even minute doses. Oh, right. It needs to be hit by a dart, not drunk.
Needs to enter into an open wound.
Right. How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, it's a little Far Eastern charade. will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
There has to have been poison in that bottle. Doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water. Hold on. I just want to see. I'm gonna save real quick. Overwriting. I just want to see what happens if I say the wrong answer here. Contains no poison. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why, Ryunosuke? Isn't it obvious? If there was poison in there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivete really astounds me. But sometimes it's in need of a good staining. Until it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent? That was a guileless ending to a promising line of inquiry, Council, for which you will be penalized. Hey, Mexican memers here saying our boy really do be crafting alternate realities. It's true. Mexican memer, I haven't seen you in a while. How you been? Glad to see you back. Let me load the game real quick just so I can... Okay, we're back in. And I'm gonna say contains poison. The culprit did put curate poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious? Fool! Are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Brett drinking the water from it.
That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think.
Oh wait, hang on. Mexican Memer said, real good, school started, so homework and stuff. Cool, cool. Keeping busy. We're all keeping busy, so I definitely understand. Yeah. But that... Anyway, I believe that complication can be explained. How, exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer's in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume the supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Okay.
Yes. I think it's the report again, but let me save just in case.
I did it already. The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report. That's not a valid explanation! No. After all, we don't speak English! That report is utter gibberish! This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency! I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest. I'm just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? Special characteristics. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years. To lace the heads of the arrow that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please! But, if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Counsel! No, that would be madness! But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Cuirae enters a body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poison effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You know Cuirae's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. Oh, I love this theme so much.
Ew. Fiddling. Dull.
What?
Rascallion!
the bird. Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer? Oh, all this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how I could possibly...
So, this ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. You look silly.
What are you trying to say?
Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw.
Schoolboyish? Flaw?
As even your brain has managed to deduce, Cuirae is safe to ingest. Seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus.
Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they?
So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
Ah! That's right. Good gracious.
That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no?
Order! Order in court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest... Yes! This Cuirae poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. Wait. I know why it would work on him, but let me keep reading. Keep going.
That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that.
Huh? What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Ooh, before I continue, next meme says, "We have all heard the more airplanes in the sea that..." Wait, hang on. What? We have all heard the more airplanes in the sea than submarines in the air, but the same can't be said for whale poop. Most perfumes contain an ingredient found in whale poop, so technically there is at least the same amount of whale poop in the air as in the ocean. I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue on. Whoa! Objection. He said objection! I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett.
Oh, how dare you use that tone with me?
You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know, this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Cuirae? I know exactly why. Let me see if I can find the right evidence, though. Medical report card. Yeah, that has to be it, because he had his...
To work.
He had blood... Yes, so I'm going to present that. As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of Curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of a person drinking the poison water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing?
I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also puerile. Puerile?
Puerile, yeah. What do you mean?
Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough.
What? Huh?
See, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it.
No!
I mean, it could just flip.
You gotta be kidding me.
Here, how careless of me. Afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed.
No! What is it? What just happened? It's the Englishwoman. She just smashed that bottle. And in the Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible. At once!
Wasting your time. The carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. I have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it.
How could you? You won't get away with this!
You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? There really was poison in the bottle, or not.
You.
Let us not forget. Still has some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Of course, of course! You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. That's right. Oh, I'm sorry, this is you.
That's right. Really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
No! You killed the victim that day, using Curare. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime.
A wonderful imagination you have, young man. Hidden gun, you say? I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly! And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke! Yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell.
Everything.
What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Red? Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There's nothing. I'm saying there's nothing. I've been over it 1,000 times in my head. There can't be anything more. At least, that's what I've been telling myself. Let's not forget that a lot has changed since the start of this trial. Your memories of that day have been stirred over and over again in the last few hours. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on, then. Let's wipe the smoke smell off the Englishwoman's face for some evidence. All right. I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's killer must have been is... It's here somewhere. Okay, it's gotta be this red.
Huh?
Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this! Yes? What is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed.
Guy.
As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day. Wait a minute! Where are you going?
Where are you going with this, little boy?
It's just a memory that's been troubling me.
What memory?
I saw the scene shown in this photograph with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was splattering of blood. What?
Really? What of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor.
No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way for that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Ah! Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Giselle Brecht!
I beg your pardon?
This is beyond ridiculous and fabricated nonsense! Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing? What? This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate, in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak that you'd been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it, now! Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir! Sorry for the delay. Here is what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't! Quickly, Inspector. The blood, man! Show the court! Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no! That's impossible! I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate.
What an unbecoming expression, little boy.
Not the swan again.
See? This is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you.
I couldn't agree more. In the case of the disgrace to the Empire. I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial.
So, let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over.
This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wish to examine again, be my guest. The plate of steak has been entered into the court record. Ooh, the meal Miss Brett ordered for lunch. It was removed from the victim's table after the incident. Oh shit, I'm examining it right now. Hold on. Before I read this, let me look at this. Let me look at this steak. Why is this bottle still in the court record?
I don't know.
It's gone. It doesn't exist. Anyway, the meal. Let's examine it. Let's examine the steak itself. Oh. Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today there's been talk about Hoei Koban. I've heard of pearls before, swine, but I've never heard of bullion. And I don't think you ever will again. It's extraordinary, though. This means... Hold on, let me rotate the thing. Yeah, the blood's not anywhere on this plate. But I'm going to examine the coin. I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoei era, too. That would make it really quite valuable. It's well marinated in the juices as well, look. What, are you thinking of eating it? No, but the next time I order steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing to lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. A Koban coin underneath this steak. There's only one logical explanation. Oh, hold on. I didn't examine the wool mark. This emblem on the side of the plate. Is it a cat? It's a cow, obviously. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beefsteak. Seems a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware. So this is the symbol of La Carnival, is it? Okay, now we're done with this. Back to the game. Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. I already did that, but moving on. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? I'm going to say nothing else, since there's no penalty thing. No, I'm really clutching at straws now. That would fly in the face of common sense. You know, it flies in the face of common sense that someone like you with no experience as a lawyer could last this long on a trial like this. How did you... Opportunities are always there for the taking, but only for those with determination to grab them. Let's have another good look at that steak. If you want to give up, it had better wait until after that. Maybe I should examine the evidence in more detail. Well, a deafening silence from the defense. I will take that as your final answer. Your Excellency, please wait! This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that reveals a shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak!
Your Excellency, I think I made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
See, as a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it?
Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is this new clue to be found? On the steak itself, I guess.
I had to examine the steak, and then I had to go through the prompt again.
Wait, but I can't do that now.
No!
I'm presenting the steak itself. Why? No, Counsel, I'm afraid that won't do. That was ambiguous at best. Come on. But I did it earlier. Why is it...
You have to press A on the steak, and then you have to lift it up. So that way they lift it.
Okay. I'm skipping through this dialogue. You have to press A on the steak and then present? Okay.
Oh no, you have to press when it prompts you on the little thing.
On the court record or
on the actual steak.
I didn't see a prompt, but I'll check again. When you're asked to identify detail like this, you must do so knowing there's a penalty for mistakes. The answer's right here in front of me. I'm sure of it. So there's only one thing to do. Turn the steak over and over until I find something to help me out of this mess.
So press A on the steak. That way you
okay.
Kazuma examine it to lift it up, and you go through the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I gotta skip through. I'm trying to mash this. Come on. Why would it do the dialogue twice? Why?
I don't know. It wasn't really greatest.
Oh my god. Alright, now we can examine it. Or present it.
So you present the coin.
Yes. Good gracious, that's... Koban?
What on earth?
A Hoei era one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
A ridiculous question. How should I know? Never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat. That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction. Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hoei coin just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip my ticket up to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency! Yes, Counsel? A rare Hoei koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give him my lawyer job right now! He just took his line. By all means, don't let us stop you! No one invited you anyway!
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant.
Even though I'm the one on trial here? The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what he's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the koban that was found underneath this beefsteak is... Oh, hang on. Oh! Curio! He was hunting for the lost coin. Present. Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasute, Kirio Korikuta-san.
Cutie, as in Mr. Cucumber something? These ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable.
Oh, yes. The old man who testified earlier looks alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed! The Hoei-era koban! My prize coin! Then this Hoei-era koban, do you mean to tell me? No! Please! Why would Korokata-san's koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and his plate? It makes no sense! Which is why I'm asking to bring Korokata-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. Wait, why both of them? Well, I guess they were both there at the time. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this koban, we'll find that it's a key element in this case. God, 4 witnesses. What's all this about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for my boy Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves! Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in trice, a worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Rasute shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Korikuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen this koban be— Wah! Yes! That's it! The one! The very exact one, that is! The resplendent, splendiferous Hoei treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day! It can't be! As I thought. Young man! Enlighten this decrepit old fool! Put me out of my misery! Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and his plate, soaking in the season's meat juices. Sandwich? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident. Which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hoei treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate? Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing! Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there is a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid according to Koban is all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on the matter. Tell us, who was the speckled skeleton of the skull and hidden under the stake? Wait, was it? What? Nosa? Wilson, was it?
What?
I actually don't know who did it. I can't hear you.
Nosa.
It was Nosa? Okay. Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Iesa Nosa! What? How? How dare you, you monster! Monster? I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido's the mastermind behind this. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. What? What is happening? Nippon Imperial Mortal, Sergeant Iesa Nosa, preparing to stand down in Supreme Court, sir. What? Why does he have a warrior-like mustache now?
The baby pulled on it.
Do any of you know of the extraordinary low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand a temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. And I've heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes? All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son! That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant. The place is heaving with money! Every 3 days, I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoy chopping my way through a good steak at the same time! It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his Koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped a coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steakhouse halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, and the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished! I know too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double! I slipped it under the stake, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. Wait, before I continue, Christy, did you get it right on the first time when they asked you who took the coin?
I kind of figured it was only him, as he was the one sitting at the table.
With the professor?
With the curator.
Wait a minute, but that steak plate, wasn't that the one that, wasn't that the one that the professor sat on?
Supposedly.
Okay, so that's why I was confused, because I didn't realize it was the same plate, the same table.
Based on if Ryunosuke's memory is correct, then there should be blood, but for some reason that one didn't have blood, so there was a little switcheroo of the plates.
Ah, that makes more sense. Okay, that's why I was confused. I was like, how could it be Nosa? He wasn't at that table. Oh man, that's like, to get that right, you have to be thinking like really far ahead, and I wasn't thinking that far ahead yet. Anyway.
The reason why they have the history button, so that way you can like get it, then after that read past through it. Through the entire script.
Well, that's definitely like that's what they call that's what they call the playthrough / LP tax, where you can't think about things as clear when you're doing it for the first time. Like it
took me a while.
Like
I had to go back and like reread through the history. And
yeah.
I was like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we're showing it to Nosa, the Koban coin to Nosa.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And then okay, that does make sense. Yeah, I can't. I couldn't.
Today.
Someone's saying this is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time?
Well, Miss Brett... Oh, of course, dear lady, of course! How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency? Indeed. The theft of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It will certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder.
Of course it is. Putting a coin under a lump of meat? Sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me.
Nonsense, is it? Well... Oof.
As for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck. And good day.
Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? There's no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. Oh god, what was the part of her history? And good day. Okay. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there's a contradiction there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. Hold on. What's... parting words, think of good luck everyone and good day.
She talked about eating a steak.
Picking up without using a knife and fork is pure madness. Wait a minute. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over. Wait! Miss Brett!
What is it now?
I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago.
What are you talking about? What contradiction?
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Rinosuke?
Getting a coin under a lump of meat? Sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your state and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, Counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it? Let me see. Without a knife, but there's a knife and fork right there in this picture. In the crime scene photograph. Wait, is that right?
Yeah. Because remember something about Wilson and his dental?
Yeah.
Injury?
Yep. Present. The photographic
Also, you can
print of the
see like how the steak is eaten as well too.
That's true. The photographic print of the scene taken immediately after the incident occurred. What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table. The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the vessel was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the vessel was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs! Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Noticed what exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting to it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did! She's a refined English gentlewoman herself! Then take a good look at this steak, in particular, the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see,
Chomp.
there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Ah! Oh! It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry and couldn't help her. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady.
As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer.
Of course, of course. This will all be over in a blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave everything to...
I've heard enough. Irritating little spectacle, a samurai relic.
Oh, of course. Dear lady! What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have you ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implication these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Rinosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes. Now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept these teeth marks are in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel.
Unnatural.
But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything?! Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that would prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson.
Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats.
How can you be so sure?
Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago.
Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been? What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist. This is absurd! The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be! I don't believe you have it! I don't! But there is someone who does have it! Someone in this very courtroom! And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case!
Sanaga...
Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial.
Sorry.
Who possesses the conclusion that they revealed the truth about this whole affair? I would have guessed it anyway, because he has the other plate.
Exactly.
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the stake with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Korakuta-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet! I'm a superior officer! Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Attention! Affirmative, of course! I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still! I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlelady if she'd mind me hand-mandling her meal to hide something in! In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal. But that makes no sense! That plate was taken from the victim's table! Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin.
Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire.
Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly! Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over? You did switch the plates? Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it! If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it! I'd be getting my marching orders! So when the cadet here was arrested and taken out to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one with the foreign lady's table.
What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing.
It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There's no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable! However, fear not, Prosecutor-san. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform. That is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant! Yes. So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga! Yes? Early in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's stake after the incident, but also the sergeant's. To preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ah! Oh dear, she's biting her mask. That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually in the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Can that possibly tell us now? A cold slab of tough meat? It can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady.
I beg your pardon?
Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you. No?
You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me.
The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing.
Yes, he remembers?
I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brent. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splatter of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brent. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Yes, sir! Sorry for keeping you. And there it is. Here is the other steak and its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. And isn't that a clean cut as well? The blood stain is clearly visible. Look!
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. It can't be! In fact, there's only one person who could have possibly shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you! Is it breakdown time?
Oh, done. A Japanese? Me? Japanese schoolboy? No. Oh, no.
Breakdown time. The swan's going wild. Oh.
There's like little chicks too.
Oh. Oh, of all different colors. This is not the breakdown I was expecting. Chicks everywhere. Look at them. They're so cute. There's so many.
Excuse my first briefly lost my composure. Just unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me.
Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time.
Sadly, Your Excellency.
Can I have a pet check now?
It was I who took the professor's life, using Kyurei. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. Professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning.
So you plan to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison will be found in his water. Because curare is unheard of here in Japan.
Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. I placed the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone. Immediately, however, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table.
That would be me, I suppose.
Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor, that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. Indeed, of course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There's no going back at that point. I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment.
A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man.
I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt.
Under your skirt? So I was right. There were two guns.
Yes,
And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had been presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure that I would notice it.
everything went according to plan. You nosed the gun as I'd intended. Then, just as you bent down to pick it up,
That's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point, he was already dead.
naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared.
Obviously, I assumed Naruto-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside.
That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around.
Because, of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun.
Here you have it. It's entirety of my demeanor. Wonder. I speak with you in private later?
Oh, I didn't hear like your first line.
Oh,
So I
didn't?
so I didn't hear the whatever. Anyway, might speak to you in private later. Here we go.
Sorry.
I shall call on you.
Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san.
It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. This can't be! Takatsuchi Achi does not lose! Not to the likes of this rookie student! You'd better start getting used to tough opposition. Ah! Ryonosuke Naruhodo! What? Yes? This insult to the Ouchie family name will never be forgotten! You become conceited with age, Council. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that! Nice. Really, Marissa, I hope you catch this YouTube like video on demand because God, that was dope. 1,000 millennia may pass, and still the Ouchi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to a wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asugi? Yes. After this trial, you are set to embark on a new journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Never mind. As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. And thank you, Your Excellency. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. Confetti? Flower petals! Okay, that's good. Flower petal confetti, I'll take it. The court is now adjourned. 22nd November, 2:46 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants, Antechamber 5. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it! I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off.
Oh, is there still wind? How's it still flowing like that?
It's flowing so breezily. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki on the place on the Yume Reverse Street. Don't forget. Is this you or... I'll say just in case. Good afternoon. All your homework is certainly paid off. It was Susato.
Oh, it was.
Right,
Congratulations. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. The moment I thought it was her, it was the professor.
Mm-hmm. I trust a judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know.
Oh no, I didn't do anything.
Thank you so much! If we hadn't had the research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out.
Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate.
Your father? Ah, yes, of course.
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Sato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Speaking of Mikotoba. Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you, after all. Your efforts exposed the true criminal to the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He once studied forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asugi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world. In science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asugi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is his soul. That blade shows me where I need to go. And cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what's happened to the woman? To Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder. Ah yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? What? Shanghai? Giselle Britt will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Who said that? Oh. Inspector Hosonaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case, somewhere far away, where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the Friendship Treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as it's not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke the consular court just like that! Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret arrangements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on! So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student. Today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil, this new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor... You're right. There's no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. Your detective, Hosonaga-san. aren't you? Let's not worry about details for now. To Le Carnival! Will you accompany us, Professor? Of course! Le Carnival's food is second to none!
I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So Giselle Britt won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma. Yes, Ryunosuke? I just wanted to say thanks again, that's all. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. Huh? To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious! If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me! All that tense verbal combat, I never want to go through that ever again! I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry, what do you mean, that's the point? Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe in even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, You face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. It sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And you're studying toward Great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Shisato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. That's rough. It's because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. And, oh boy. Ooh,
Ew,
I got an
it
award.
was long.
Defensive View award awarded. Save progress. Saving game. Okay. Let's look at episode 1 picture. Oops. Anyway, episode 1, The Adventure of the Great Departure. Yeah, that's about right. Episode 2, The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. Well, that's an interesting episode title. Alright, returning to title screen. What time is it?